The Devastator makes itself known as the definitive glass cannon subclass of Chivalry 2. With hard-hitting primaries and intimidating speed, it's the perfect representation of what it means to be the Vanguard. Today, we're going to go over every aspect of this subclass in depth to leave you with all the information you need to hold the line. Brace yourself for devastation. The Devastator is a Vanguard. This means low defense and high mobility. Without that cumbersome plate armor, you're able to zoom across the battlefield with the fastest movement speed in the game, but this is at a cost. The Vanguard has the smallest HP pool besides the Archer, leaving you vulnerable to ranged attacks and bladed weapons. Be wary of projectiles and swords. You're also more susceptible to jabs and kicks than the Knight or Footman. You won't be taking increased damage or anything, but due to your smaller health bar, naturally you'll have less leeway. Fortunately, there's a silver lining to all of these weaknesses. The Vanguard is granted 20 more stamina than the Footman or Knight, allowing you to be more liberal with your heavy weapons and have an easier time utilizing dodges/jumps. The Devastator has an incredibly specialized kit made for dealing massive amounts of damage with wide sweeping attacks, which includes 3 unique weapons. Your primary weapons consist of the Battle Axe, a slow, short-ish two-handed axe that makes itself worthwhile by being able to two-shot every class in the game, regardless of overheal. The War Club, a fast, long-range blunt weapon unfortunately held back by its comparatively weak stats and presence of hit stop. The Executioner's Axe, a two-handed axe with significantly more range than the Battle Axe, but less damage all around. The Greatsword, a legendary blade with wide sweeping attacks and depressive damage on all classes alike. It also makes quick work of archers in one strike. The Maul, a cultural icon in the medieval slasher community. This is the definitive representation of what it means to be a min-max. In reality, it isn't the best choice, but its ability to one-shot knights is quite hilarious. The Highlander Sword, an ever so infamous weapon and the largest sword in the game. This slow piece of clunk is a slower, longer version of the Greatsword with an emphasis on overheads. As if it's even worth mentioning, your secondary is relatively pathetic. In your possession for no other reason other than you had a spare pocket, the Devastator has access to the knife. This little thing is arguably one of the worst weapons in the game, but if you find yourself getting disarmed, it's better than nothing. Lastly, the Devastator is equipped with throwing mallets as an item. These function similar to the throwing axes in that they're a standalone throwable which can double as its own weapon if need be. The damage bonus and their large-ish hitbox make them quite viable at going for headshots. I would primarily target knights with these to get the optimal amount of damage output. Finally, the Devastator is blessed with the most pyromantic thing I've laid my eyes on, the Oilpot. A clay pot that coats the ground in a flammable liquid, igniting a small area in flames. After an enemy is lit on fire, they'll slowly take tick damage, regardless of if they're standing in the fire. Overall, the Devastator kit, minus a few choices, is very effective, equipped with crushing offensive power that allows you to be the glass cannon of the field. All that movement speed isn't just for style points. Being a Vanguard grants Devastator the ability to use Leaping Strike. I won't go too in-depth on Leaping Strike as I already have a previous video linked in the above card, but in short, the Leaping Strike is an attack where the player performs a horizontal leap while swinging their weapon for massive damage, which can be charged up by running at full sprint. The Leaping Strike is especially important because it pairs well with your passive, Charger, which allows you to further replenish your Oilpot by successfully killing an enemy with your Leaping Strike. This encourages you by rewarding you for using your mobility to properly utilize Leaping Strike. By staying on the move, you'll get more Leaping Strike kills, allowing you to create space with more Oilpots. As an added bonus, the Devastator has a passive negation to any movement speed penalty. This means that despite the fact that you're carrying the largest weapons imaginable, it won't slow you down whatsoever. Being a Devastator, you're the hard hitter of the team. Your specialized kit of massive weapons demands you place yourself at the vanguard. However, Your trade-off of durability for mobility enables you to scoot your way to whichever objective you deem more important. Do your best to hit as many enemies as possible with wide sweeping attacks, and disengage to make your way to more important matters when necessary. When you charge up your Oilpot, understand that it is a tool for creating space. Although the damage on the pot isn't necessarily bad, its main advantage is intelligent placement, which impedes on the enemy's options at your discretion. They're best placed on objectives such as bombs that the enemy is attempting to plant/defuse, but you can get creative. Overall, the Devastator is a powerful subclass that demands respect in any fight, even with its obvious shortcomings. The massive weapons with high damage strikes along with great space creation results in a focused, effective kit. For these reasons, I consider the Devastator A tier on offense and B tier on defense. Now you're ready to cause devastation. Get out there and join the Vanguard.